Anyway, I'm going to drop off my soapbox for approximately 30 seconds because we're going to take a closer look at a story that hit the news. And to quote my co-host Stephen Foskett, oh, this isn't good. Chris Krebs is a well-known figure in the cybersecurity space, and as the former head of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, also known as CISA, Krebs was responsible for directing security in the U.S. federal government starting back in 2018. But you may recall that our friend Mr. Krebs was fired from CISA in 2020 by President Donald Trump for his stance on the 2020 election. Put a pin in that, because last week, some 4 years later, newly elected President Donald Trump stripped Chris Krebs of his security clearances for this said 4-year-old issue. Krebs then announced that he would be stepping down from his role at SentinelOne to prevent the company from being harmed by what appears to be a personal issue between the President of the United States of America and a private citizen who dared to disagree with him. As you can tell by my read on this, I have opinions, but Romeo, I'm going to let you start off with this one. Did Chris Krebs do the right thing by stepping away from SentinelOne when all of this went down?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one, Tom. I'll say this: a selfless act, in my opinion, by stepping down and resigning and recognizing that the problem is with me. This issue is directed towards me, not the rest of the company. So I'm going to remove myself out of this to try to prevent any action that will be taken against the company. Smart move, in my opinion. However, worst thing that could happen, come directly after SentinelOne. So either way, either way, he could have resigned and something can still happen with the company as a lingering effect, even though he's not there. But I do applaud him for stepping down because he recognized, hey, this is directed towards me. We have other people that have families, that have pets, that are doing great work, and I don't want to disturb that particular piece or issue that's going on there. Tom, I want to hear your thoughts around it because I know you got something there.
Yeah, I do. I want to echo your statement there. Krebs is a smart man, and he knows exactly what this was. That 4-year-old issue was one sentence. The 2020 election was the most secure in history. That's all he said. He didn't get political. He didn't take a position on who won or lost. He spoke with the authority of his office. This was the most secure election we've had in history. And 4 years later, somebody comes in and says, you know what? I disagree with you. I'm going to strip you of your security clearances. Hey, I get it. That's his right as the leader of the free world. But it feels a little petty. Feels like you're punching down on somebody who, quite honestly, hasn't bothered you for 4 years. But we are on the roaring rampage of revenge tour, aka 47th president of the United States. And I've made my feelings on this subject abundantly clear over several episodes of the rundown. But I do want to call out the people at SentinelOne. You guys are going to be fine because this was never about you. I get it. You're going to have to deal with some dodgy seas for a little bit while you figure out where this is going to go and what's going to happen. But you have a great product. You have great people that are ready to lead you into wherever happens next. Unfortunately, Chris Krebs is not going to be one of those people right now. But I think this is for the best because Chris Krebs has a more important job right now. Proving to the world that a petty little tyrant isn't going to be able to bully every company in the industry and any industry into believing what he believes. We've talked a lot in history about the reality distortion field that Steve Jobs used to project around himself, and that, if Steve believed it, then everybody else around him had to believe it. We need to stop the reality distortion field here because there is no doubt in anyone's mind that the 2020 election was the most secure one that we have had. And yes, I am counting the 2024 election in that statement. I personally have some questions, but the fact of the matter is that a man that was being paid to essentially ensure that things were secure did so. You disagree with his statement of the outcome, and you are bringing the full weight of the U.S. federal government against him for what? I'm just curious, what is the end game here? Is it to embarrass a man publicly for making a statement that you disagree with? Is it to get him to publicly admit that something happened and that he agrees that things were irregular? And then what? Are you going to restore his security clearances? Are you going to publicly apologize for treating him the way that you did? We all know the answer to that is no. Basically, it's kind of like when a private equity firm comes in and wrecks your company. The ultimate goal was not to get you to admit something; it was to take your win and run away like a scalded dog. And that's what's going to happen here. Assuming that Chris Krebs does give in and say, "Yeah, you're right, it was a bad election." Um, that's a propaganda piece that will be put out, and everybody will say, "Oh yeah, Krebs, the CISA head at the time even says it was bad," and then it'll be forgotten, and Chris Krebs will still be out of a job, still won't have a security clearance, and nothing will happen. The best thing, Chris, if you're watching this, big fan, you can do is to fight this to your very core. And I know you're the kind of person that will. You wouldn't have stepped away from SentinelOne if you were just going to give in. This is about you versus him, and you're going to win. You know why? Because you have the attention span and the intelligence to fight this, and you're right. And that is always the best defense. Romeo?
Couldn't say it more. I mean, that, they have a wonderful team there. They just have a great team there that will continue to thrive and survive despite Krebs not being there. It's just sad that he's resigned to step down.